Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. So this is actually editing Ashley, and in editing this video I realized that I never introduced the vlog. So welcome to another weekly reading vlog. I hope you enjoy this. Let's get into the video itself. I am currently in the process of filming like 6 videos at a time, so if you notice that I look the same in all of my videos, say less. So I decided that I wanted to start doing weekly vlogs again, and if I'm going to be completely honest, it's because I figured out a new way to make thumbnails. And if you make content, you'll know that editing can be a very time-consuming and also kind of a discouraging part, and thereby making thumbnails can be a little discouraging. But for me, if I find a way to make thumbnails, or I find a way to do things in videos, a new editing style, that like really revitalizes my desire to film and edit and stuff like that. So I am currently reading Notorious Pleasures. This is the second book in the Maiden Lane series, and this is about Hero and Griffin. And Hero is actually engaged to Griffin's brother. She is the patroness for the orphanage Temperance ran in the first one in St. Giles. We are getting 3 points of view. We are getting Griffin and Hero, and then we're also getting Silence, who's running the orphanage now. And I believe her romance is the next book in this series. So the setup of their relationship is that she's engaged to his brother, but they have like this chance encounter, and there's like this intense chemistry between the two of them, and he ends up blackmailing her into allowing him to cart her around St. Giles. She's seeing the building of a new orphanage, and so she's been doing business in St. Giles by herself because she doesn't want to tell her brother, who is a politician and is like very staunch on fighting crime, and then she doesn't want to tell her fiance because he's kind of the same. And so she has been going around St. Giles, which is this area in London that is like very crime heavy, and then he finds out and is like, yeah, you can't do that. So if you don't want to tell your brother and you don't want to tell my brother, then I'm going to escort you myself. So he starts doing that. Griffin is also running a gin distillery, which he's doing in secret because kind of everybody in his life, gin should not be sold because they think it's destroying good families, etc., etc. And so he's running like the biggest gin distillery in St. Giles, and there is a local gang in St. Giles that is trying to take his business down. I'm bored with the relationship. I just don't feel like they're full, complete people. Hero feels like a knockoff version of Temperance, but way more annoying. And Griffin just kind of feels like this cold-hearted rake that is actually like a big softie on the inside and hides his true intentions and lets his bad reputation cover the good things that he's doing. So it just feels very stereotypical. I'm getting through this quickly, and it is readable, and it does have like the gritty atmosphere of the first one. But unless something vastly changes from here, this is going to be a 3-star, which is crazy because the first one was a 5-star. Yeah, I just don't feel anything for the relationship. My other 2 reads for this week being like 3 more days, I got Kingdom of the Wicked from my library. This is a new, I think it's a YA, it might be a new adult fantasy series about 2 twin witches. I did not like this author's other series, Prince Stalking Ripper, Jack, something like that. Jack the Ripper, I didn't really like that, but we're gonna give this one a shot. And then I also got Crave, which seems to be like a Twilight ripoff. I am currently filming a secret TBR video, and in that video, one of the books that I'm reading is a Twilight fanfiction. I didn't know that going in, but now I'm like all into vampires. And I'm hoping that this one just gives me like all of those vibes that I would get from Twilight, because I don't actually want to read Twilight. That's it. I've been rambling for 7 minutes. I'm sure this clip was an entire mess, but we will talk later. I have decided to DNF Crave. Okay, so this is basically a like Twilight ripoff of a girl who goes to like this mysterious academy in Alaska, and there's like these mysterious boys, and there's like some vampire stuff going on. I didn't get very far in, but it's just not something that I'm interested in. It wasn't cliche and over the top and dramatic like Hate by Tate James is, where it's a little bit self-aware. It's not like, it doesn't have that tone, which is when I like what I like in cliche stories. But if you're looking for like a Twilight remake set in Alaska and Stephenie Meyer had actually known what a person of color was, I would recommend this, I guess. So now I think I am going to read Kingdom of the Wicked. I haven't started it yet. I've been reading books for another video, which are incredibly like heavy. So I'm just kind of hoping that Kingdom of the Wicked is fun and light and interesting, and I enjoy it because that's kind of what I need right now. I also still have Notorious Pleasures left that I might get to, but it is Friday night and I don't really have many updates for you, but we'll talk again later. In about an hour, I'm going for my second dose of my vaccine, so this might be the end of the vlog if I get really sick, because I got sick with the first dose. But I am like 25-ish% of the way through Kingdom of the Wicked, and I'm actually enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. So this is about two twin sisters who were raised as witches, and in the beginning we see them making this charm as their grandmother is telling them the story of these princes of hell that will eventually return to Earth to satisfy a blood oath that was made, that they feel something was stolen from them. And she tells them, you know, these charms will keep you protected, but never put them together, never let them touch, or something bad will happen. It will open a gateway into this world for the princes to come back, or for demons to come back. Of course, in the prologue, they put the necklaces together, and then we skip forward like 6 or 7 years, and they're 18. I guess it would be 10 years, and they're 18. And the heroine, or the main character, the sister's name is Victoria and Amelia. And Amelia is working in her family's restaurant. I would say this is set in, I don't know exactly what time period I would say, but there's no electricity in Sicily, I think. And she has a crush on a local priest boy, or a boy that's going to become a priest. And she loves cooking, and she plans to open a restaurant one day. And her sister, Victoria, there's no like C, but she is kind of the free-spirited sister. She's the sister that flirts with all the boys and goes out at night and mysteriously disappears and keeps a bunch of secrets. And then one day, Amelia is going to the local church, and it gets this weird feeling. So she goes down into the catacombs underneath the church and finds this dark figure standing over a dead body. And when she goes and pulls the shroud off the dead body, it is her sister, and her sister is missing her heart. So then she goes on this hunt for vengeance, and she's hunting down this mysterious figure that she saw standing over her sister's dead body and drinking her sister's blood. And so she grabs her sister's diary, which is like charmed to not open. So she does some digging and discovers some pages of a dark grimoire, and she manages to summon a prince of hell using a dagger that he left behind. She discovers he's the mysterious figure that was standing over her sister's body, and they enter into a bond. It puts a tattoo on her forearm, and it bounds them together. And he says, like, if you give me a blood oath, I'll be able to protect you. Otherwise, we'll just be bound together. And if you pledge to my house, there's like 7 houses or whatever. If you pledge to my house, people will know that they cannot mess with you, or they will incur the wrath of Wrath. And that's who he is, the Prince of Wrath, I guess. And that's kind of where I am, and I'm actually enjoying it. It doesn't feel particularly well thought out. It's a little bit flat, and the characters are kind of one note. I'm also not super loving Wrath. I don't feel like he's as scary or the big bad as like I would want from a Prince of Hell. And he feels kind of flat and a little bit dumb. I am enjoying it. It is a welcome reprieve from the dark stuff that I was reading previously that I needed a break from. So yeah, I'm 30% of the way in and I am enjoying it. I hope that it gets a little bit better from here. Like I said previously, I don't particularly love her other book, but I'm enjoying this one significantly more so far. I think there's a greater emphasis on the plot than that one, which was a huge emphasis on like the vibe of being in London around that time. So I'll update you later. Hi friends, I do not feel good, so I'm going to make this update quick. I managed to finish Kingdom of the Wicked, which I gave 2 stars. I don't mean to be rude, but if there was ever a book that was a waste of pages, it was this. Like I'm sure there is somebody out there that this worked for, but there was nothing here. There was no plot. There was no mystery, there was no romance, there was no world building, there was no understandable, like, there was nothing here. I struggled to get to the 60%, and then 60% on, I just skim read, and like, the reveals were so obvious. So I think I'm going to continue reading Notorious Pleasures, and then hopefully that's good. Two days, 1 vaccine, and 1 horrible illness later, I am back. It is now Monday. I haven't gotten that much further into Notorious Pleasures. I am at 259. I was able to read a book for my other video that I have running right now, but I wasn't really able to like physically read all that much. Well, whatever. Because I just like actually couldn't hold up a book. So I read a little bit last night after I was feeling a little better, but I'm not loving this. The same things that I said in my last clip about this is how I'm currently feeling. It's just like, it feels a little bit like a ripoff of the first one, and I am hoping that it gets better as it goes along. I just am not super enjoying this, and I think there are books that I'm more interested in, but I do want to get through this. So I'm gonna try to get through this today. I don't have that much left. I have about that much left. So I'm going to try to finish this today, and then we will move on to some better books. Okay, so I have finished Notorious Pleasures, and as predicted, I'm going to give this 3 stars. Like I said in previous clips, I just feel like this was nothing special. Hero was just too self-righteous the entire time, despite the fact that she's actively cheating on her fiance the entire book. The thing that I liked about Temperance in the first one was that she felt like she was atoning for her sins, right? And so she had this like dynamic past that sort of made her personality a little more interesting and a little more understandable, whereas we don't really know anything about Hero. And I think that's the issue that I had with both the hero and the heroine, is that I don't really know their motivations or like who they are as people. We don't really know anything about Hero. We don't learn anything about her family or her background or anything like that. Griffin, that he comes from a family that lost its fortune, and he kind of had to get that fortune back while maintaining this rakish reputation. And so that's kind of all we know about them as characters. We don't know what they want to do with their lives. We don't know what they like to do. We don't know really anything about them. So we don't really understand why they would work as a couple. So altogether, it was just a 3 stars. It wasn't anything spectacular. I felt like I've seen these characters a million times. I've even seen the heroine in an Elizabeth Hoyt book, the first book in the series. So I just didn't really feel any draw to these characters. The plot wasn't really that interesting. I would say the last 50 pages or so, we actually get some things with St. Giles, and you know, stuff happening there with the gin distillery, but other than that, there wasn't anything driving the story along. So it just altogether was just okay. But I will say I am very interested in Silence and reading Silence's story. I know it's her and a pirate. Their storyline just got a little bit more interesting with the end of the book. But yeah, altogether, this was just mediocre. And I read pretty similar reviews. People that love this series kind of just admit that this isn't really the best. So that is that, and that is going to be the end of the video. I am about to start another weekly reading vlog, so I will catch you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching.